Very good afternoon. Namaskar to all of you. Mitro, if you haven't had the dose of Mitro from yesterday, let me add that dose. There is promise in
It's
the air.
Sathiyo now. It's Sathiyo now, not Mitro.
So there is promise in the air. Earlier we had no promise in the air. Now there is promise. Like COVID is in the air, promise in the air. So both of them stand equal today. And at the same time, Team WFM Media, Ahad and myself, welcome you once again for another interesting subject, talking about a different tangent of products. But just to let you know, in close to 1 month and 10 days, this is our webinar number 12.
Yeah, number 12.
I don't want to sound, let's say, business minded on this subject of webinars, but may not like me saying it, but we were one of the first to start webinars in the fraternity, and there are webinars left, right, and center happening. All of you must be wondering, every day there are tons of invitations coming. Which one to attend? Which one to attend? Chalo, let's register in all, and then we see what time we have, and then what subject we have is more interesting. But G, very important, G, simple point is, G, everything is about content. Wherever you get continued learning is where you should go, whether it's with us or anybody else, whatever is subject which is interesting, which you enjoy, and where you have previous experiences, like you enjoy Coke and you don't switch to Pepsi. We are your Coke if you like Coke. So stick to Coke. Coke can also be another way around, and I don't want to talk about it. We have a gentleman from Bombay who is, the Coke capital of India. And I'm trying to tangentize the subject a little different. But also,
so which Coke are you referring to?
You get exactly my point. So you shouldn't ask that question. But having said that, I'm not itna sara policing ho gaya, there's barricading everywhere. Then I think tomorrow there'll be verbal barricading as well, where you will not be able to speak what you like. I don't know. Then we have a young friend of mine, Mr. Pathak, Swapnil, who I call Robin, who I know the two generations, three actually, his brother, his father, and we've learned a lot together, partied a lot together, worked a lot together, and where I see him today, I'm very proud, not all the time, but essentially proud that I know him, and the fact that he does a great job in the business that he is in and taken the family business going forward. So I leave it now to Ahad. Otherwise, I might speak some unspoken things. Ahad, over to you, my friend.
Right. Thank you so much for that introduction. Right. So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this 12th edition of the WFM Stay Informed Edition webinar series. Again, as Amit Malhotra rightly said, content is king. And I think what we've been able to do with our webinars is bring content which is exclusive, which is different. Today's content is very different from all our previous webinars. Of course, our previous webinars had a lot of external glass, but this time we thought, let's talk about internal glass. That's also equally important, and there are a lot of innovations in internal glass. That's why our two speakers for today are well-respected people in doing interior work. Our first presenter for today is architect Khozema Chitalwala. He's the principal at Designers Group based out of Bombay. So he's going to be talking about hospitality design and specification. I remember a colleague of mine approached him to speak. He said, what will I talk 30 minutes on interior glass? So he's going to give us an overview of hospitality projects, which is his specialty. He's been associated with all the international groups like Hyatt, Marriott, Taj, to name it, majority of the international and local Indian hospitality groups. He's done the interiors. So he's going to be talking about some materials which can go on the facades of hospitality projects. He'll also be talking about usage of glass for interiors and exteriors, and also glass as an art in interiors. So that's going to be architect Khozema Chitalwala, who will go first. Following him, we have Swapnil Pathak, who's the partner at Art and Glass Group. Art and Glass Group are one of the large glass processors in India. The name is a little misleading, which says that they are only doing art glass, which is not right. They also do a lot of high performance exterior glass also, but they started their main business with interior glass. You'll see a lot of innovation in his presentation, which they have done with interior glass, be it glass furniture, curved glass, or whatever it is. So he's going to be talking about evolution of glass in interiors. So these are our two speakers discuss for today. Again, as I mentioned, it's a very different topic. You have so many webinars happening, but nobody's spoken on interior glass. This is very specific to interior glass and what you can do with glass in interiors. So just the schedule for today, we have the introduction now going on, followed by a presentation by architect Khozema Chitalwala, then followed by Swapnil Pathak, and then we'll have a joint Q&A at the end. So now I'm just handing over control to architect Khozema, who will be presenting first. Sir, I've given you the control. Swapnil, let's switch off our cameras and we'll come back later.
Can you
Right,
see
we are
me?
good to go. Yeah, we are good to go.
We are good to go. Okay, very good. So, yes, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Ahad, for introducing me, and thank you, Amit, for coordinating such a lovely webinar. I would like to, when Ahad's colleague Renu, she came to me and she said, "Sir, I would like you to present something." I said, literally speaking about half an hour on the glass which is not the subject. I perceive glass as a very different element, and it's not only a material for us. It is something which gives us a lot of which has got a lot of functionality as well as aesthetic values, as well as a lot of other factors are involved in designing along with the glass. So I thought, and I shared with her, and I said that I would rather present something which has got something which is more relevant to a project, and that's what was finally decided, and I bring to you. My subject is ethos of hospitality design and specification. Now I think so. Everything needs to have a character. It needs to have something which is absolutely precisely not only in terms of form, but it has to have a very functional value to it. And there has to be a specific reason to it. So in order to do that, we generally do in most of the projects, we try and bring in our case study and our knowledge which we have, and that is what we try and introduce into our project. So what is generally what I consider as architecture is a bone, decor is a heart, and art is a soul of a room, of any project. It's a quote by Terry Lynn Davis, but it's something which is applicable to every project, whether you are doing a hotel, whether you are doing a residence, whether you are doing commercial project, anything which you are doing, it is basically relevant to this. So I am going to give you an example of a hotel which we did in Indore. Now this hotel is a brownfield hotel which came to us, and it was a structure which was lying idle for a very long time. The hotel was designed as a very budget hotel, whereas the owners were very keen on making it something which was much more premium than budget. So it was very necessary that we had to look into the room sizes, grade, and everything. When the client came to us, this building was sold, and they bought over, and they bought in the condition which I'm going to show you the couple of. So if you look at it, the building elevation, building shell was ready, everything was ready, but we had the challenge in this was to uh, get the soul in it, get the ethos of and give us building a character, and bring the characters of that concept and ethos of the total design was to be incorporated in this particular. So we generally, in most of our cases, what we do is whether it may be a greenfield, brownfield, or a renovation, whatever it comes to us, we try and reach out to people. We try and do to the people around. we try and do analysis on following fronts. We do analysis of target audience. We do the analysis of which segment or which category this hotel is supposed to be for. The target audience who's going to use it. What is the kind of location on which it is. So we tried, these are the couple of factors which are very important, and what we did was we studied everything. And on that, we study into a little bit of depth. So we realized that this particular building, which was existing over there, 2 decades back, this was a nice lush jungle. This was a new development uh, in the city of Indore, more of a new development. And there used to be a lush green over there, and there used to be a lot of peacocks over there. And that gave us an inspiration, and we said that uh, to revive the history, to reincorporate, rejuvenate the complete history and bring it back to that particular same location, we thought peacock was the most ideal inspiration for this particular property. And the biggest advantage which we felt and we gave it to this particular project was that peacock is something which is very Indian. It is very it's a national bird, and it is available, it is there across, considered very important all across in pan India. But at the same time, it gives us a brilliant uh, opens up various avenues for our designing and detailing. So we thought that if we could take peacock as this, it will become a property which has got its own identity. It will give us all the required aspects to enhance this project and give a characteristics to this project. Because most of the hotels, when you look at it, they look sometimes most of them start looking bland. They are wonderfully designed, but they don't have the regional influence. They don't speak about a storyline. They don't have anything. So to bring in a soul or an ethos of this particular property, we got inspired from a peacock, which was a history of this. So what we thought was, we thought like how the Japanese think about it. In Japan, the broken objects are often repaired with a gold line, which is a fantastic thing, which I feel that every time since it was a brownfield project, we wanted something which was there. So, and the flaw is seen as a unique piece of the object history, which is added to its beauty. So putting a golden line to fill up the cracks is something which is a unique way of doing things. So we also believed in the same philosophy, and we said that we will bind this with something which is very unique, very nice, in order to bring this. So this was a mood palette inspiration mood board which was created, getting inspired from the peacock. Now sorry guys, so I will just give you a quick overview of the project. When the shell existed, the building is a triangular building. The building was uniquely designed, and the shell was ready. So what we did was we created 2 floors of public areas, and one floor, rest of the floors were all of them were guest room floors. Now, when we did that, we had this particular side wing on the right hand side, which was more of a public floor till the top level. So we incorporated, the heights were limited, everything was the architecture, interior architecture had to be changed, because we wanted those incorporation or those spacious feeling which are required for the public spaces to be incorporated in the same. Now when we did that, I'm running through that so that we can look at something more in detail. What we did was that we realized that the room grid which was there was actually very small. Now I believe you, in the earlier stage, I showed you an image which is like this. This elevation was there. The room was there. The room grid was only 185 square feet. And any brand or anybody who had the competition around, any brand who would come and would love to operate also, there was a certain size of room which was required. And then while studying that, what we realized was that we have FSI which is available to us, with us, and since the FSI is available, we thought of why not use these chhajja projections which you see in these elevations, which you see here as the projection. Why not use and consume them? So we removed all the vertical lines and brought the room, extended the room in order to get little more area from them. And what we landed with is something on this line. But at the same time, when this is the front elevation, basic front elevation which was there. But if you look at it, there were some service bays which were there on the side in the front facade. And what we did was we tried to incorporate peacock eye in that, which was an inspiration. This was an element of peacock which was trying to bind from exterior to inside, which we will see it in a lot of other images which I will show you in some time. So this was taken as an element of design, and rest of this complete facade was finished with glass. Now, although we used all what we wanted to do was what we used was the glazing, double glaze, in order to do all our savings in terms of energy, sunlight savings, and all those other things were incorporated in it. But we, at the same time, the biggest worry which we had was that once we do this glazing, it should not look like a commercial building, and that was our biggest concern which we had. So we started experimenting, and we said that why not do peacock eye, and started experimenting. This was the service bay in the front facade which you see, and those eyes were created out of those fins. So this detail was incorporated in the same, and this is what the elevation facade is currently looking like. So in order to identify this as a hotel and hotel room, what we did was we removed those vertical lines, but we incorporated those vertical lines with the lights. So when you see the glazing, you will see on the glazing, you will see the vertical lines which are coming. Those are the light fixtures during which gives you a visual break, and it shows you as a room grid. At the same time, what you see during daytime also, when it is not lit, you see those as a room grid which are very evident. So glazing was used. First and foremost, the room was extended on a chhajja. So we did a structural analysis, and we found out that the slab the existing slab was extended as a chhajja. So we had no challenges in terms of structure. Now, but even though we had no challenges, we couldn't have built some walls and other things on the same to a great extent. So we, in order to reduce the load, we thought that the glass would be the best. It will not occupy my space in the room. It will give me the maximum amount of space in the room. At the same time, it will make the building look much more lighter, much more contemporary. At the same time, it will also give me benefit of being light in weight. It will add lesser load on the chhajja which we were using as a part of the room. So this is something which led us to decide on it, and that's what we decided, and we used it. So when it is needed, it is something like this, what you see around. So you see there is a line, yellow line, light fixture, which is light, the lighting detail which has been created, which gives you a highlight of and showing it as a room grid which is there. This hotel which is known as Wow in Indore. It's a fairly a new hotel, just 2 years old, and a very well laid out. Currently, it is considered as one of the top hotels in Indore, which is so close to the proximity of Marriott and Radisson and Sayaji. So the impact of light on the facade broke the facade into it, and that is what is all it gave us a very nice stimulation of rooms which were there in the hotel grid. At the same time, the lightness of the facade, since it was a glazing, it didn't give us it took away the corporate look of a building. to a hotel look. So the internal spaces were also well illuminated. We had to cover the atrium with the tensile structure, which we did, and probably we did one of the best. We managed to do that tensile, and probably it gave us a lot of light during daytime, as you see over here. So we had another point was that we had a nice atrium which was there, and this nice atrium, in order to make it more seamless, more undivided kind of a thing, the glass railings were used in indoor. Now these are very simple, I think so. Most of the time we use this very subconsciously, and we say that what is so great about it. But yes, this subconsciously we have induced in ourselves. There is always a reason to use a glass railing over here. The glass is by default, it is not hindering then, and it gives you the vision till all the way till the back of the room, which makes a volume looks little, which makes the volume of the atrium get staggered, and at the same time the view is uninterrupted, and that is something which makes it it makes you feel really very, very nice. So if you look at from the corridor angle, you will see that there is a glass which is an unseen line. It's a barrier which is giving a protection, but it's an unseen line. So for example, we wanted this particular element of design which is here. We started with an inspiration of glass. We wanted this complete art on the wall to come up in glass, and but all thanks to the budget, we had to relook at the material, and we had to do it in some other material instead of glass. But the original inspiration of this complete art, which was to go on this atrium wall, was with the glass, and this would have been probably in glass would have looked most fantastic above. So architecturally, when we use glass in glazing and for other purpose interior, there are several other use which are being used. So we are currently using it in partitions. We are doing it in some other reasons, some light fixtures, some artworks. So there are a lot of ways which we are using the glass, which I would like to show you in further. So look at the way how the glasses are being used. The glasses are, this is a PDR, the importance of the glass and the work done on the glass. The glass automatically is creating a screen value. Along with it, it's a basic, simple, clear and edge pattern which is there on the screen pattern which is there on the glass, which gives them a little privacy. It gives them a seclusiveness in terms of this. And if you look at the color palette, now color palettes are all inspired from Peacock. So we have blues which are coming from blue, violets, and all those colors are coming from Peacock. And those colors are being incorporated here also. In partition, we have used a blue color mirror. So we wanted those decorative elements also of glass and mirror to be incorporated in the design. So mirror is used. It's very easy, but you need to use the mirror in the right manner in order to create expanse, because smaller the spaces, larger, to make it look larger, mirrors are used extensively, and in a most beautiful way it can be used in order to give the expanse. You saw in the image earlier also, the PDRs were not that big, but in order to give a little feel of connectivity between outdoor space and indoor PDR, and having privacy at the same time, everything was managed with the glass. Again, as example of how mirrors have been used in order to create more expand. This is a lobby, entry foyer lobby of the banquet space, which do create, in order to hold large number of people at that lobby foyer level, lift lobby level. The mirrors were created so that their space looks much more larger than what it actually is. the wonderful way. So there was double height in front, and the way we wanted the lobby to be perceived, to be expanded, to make it look much more larger. The mirror was used and it has been, when it's seen from outside, you will see it as much more longer and a larger lobby than what you actually feel the space is. Again, the way the mirrors are used, I think so. The rooms were very interesting. The rooms, the way the mirror and the glass top. So, for example, you see a glass top in the front. We wanted this element was there. These were the 1.5 bay room which were created. Look at the way the mirrors are playing. If you look at the picture itself, you will see a lot of reflections which are coming in, a lot of expands which are being created. Tabletops are used of the glass so that you don't feel that volume and mass and bulkiness of the material. Similarly, you look at the mirror which is being used in a wardrobe area and the reflection of the mirror which is used in the bathroom. So many ways the mirror are being used as an element of glass in order to bring in more expanse in the project. So how did we create that? So if you look at when I was talking about ethos, the ethos was we have taken I as an inspiration, as an art inspiration. Sorry, for the headboard artwork, and this is something what was created specifically as a digital design, digital wallpaper, with digital art on the head wall, and this is what is being used as an art. So when we talk about ethos, when we talk about the characteristics, when we talk about any nuances which refer to the regional flavor, this is something which we always add into the project, which creates a story to the complete project. So the way it's a simple mirror which is broken into 3 pieces and used as a space breaker or as an art which gives you a reflection of what is there in the room. So from it creates a multi-dimension in terms of that. So we do a lot of installation of the glass and crystal glass and art. This is something which we love. We do a lot of installation of similar kind in public spaces. It creates a great vibrance. It creates break the spaces. It creates a different characteristics altogether. So look at the way the glass is in a very decorative way. We have been using this as a screens for various projects. So similar screens are being created. The one on the right is being used in a Bombay project where we are doing it. The second one is also being used in one of the Bombay project. These are the other two. One are the reference pictures from some other project. But look at the way the art is being used on a glass. The textures which are created on the glass, the fabric sandwich glasses which we are using for the same. So an ambience, one of the a render which you feel that how important the glass in the interior, the fabric sandwiches glass which creates a very translucent effect, very the way it can be done, the kind of arty, the kind of vibrations which it creates, it can create in the overall interior. So something which we are doing very extensively currently is creating a lot of texturing, value addition to the glass. So if you look at this, these are the kind of textures which you can use in interior and try and enhance the interior, create more characteristics, because glass is something which gives you, which can create multiple dimensions. So if you look at the art over here, this is something what we have proposed in one of the property hotel as a artwork behind the reception desk. So it gives you so much of multiple dimension to it. So it reflects, it is opaque. Somewhere you see the color, somewhere you see the reflection. Even the texture which is there in front of the glass and the backdrop image is making it look different. The way the fabric screens are being used, so the characteristics of using such kind of screen gives you a very different dimension. We have also started using lighting of all these glasses in order to make it more more decorative, more better kind of a image. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that very interesting presentation. I love the last part where you played with the text with glass. So as I mentioned earlier, we'll take question answers at the end. Let's Swapnil make the presentation now, and then we will take joint question answers.
Sure.
Swapnil, if you can
Sure,
just
thank you.
present your screen.
Am I visible?
Yes, perfect. Yeah, go ahead.
One question. Do you see my control panel for the webinar also?
No, I can't see that. That's hidden. But however, I can see your footer. Can you just go to the next slide? Yeah, okay, it's fine now. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hi everybody. Swapnil Pathak, and I'm here on behalf of Art and Glass, which is a 34-year-old company. But today I'm going to keep Art and Glass as a secondary, and I'm going to be primary. I'll take the glass fraternity and the glass industry on a whole, and try and explain one of the most misjudged and misused and misinterpreted products of our building industry, which is glass. So, yeah. So the first slide, which of mine, tells you how old this product is. So glass is technically 5,620 year old. I mean, we just hear this word, or this number 5,620 doesn't give you that sort of impact. So we should always have a reference to what we are talking about. So few references for you is the first glass was made 3600 BC, which was 3600 years before Christ was born. Oh, sorry, the Christ died. Then Mahabharata, which was a Hindu epic, was done. It happened at 100 BC, which was 500 years after the glass was made. In 13th century, we did beautiful stained glass panels in Notre Dame, France, the Reims Cathedral. 17th century, paint came into existence. Paint is something which we can't think. Agar paint nahi ho, if paint is not there, we can't think that our projects would be done. But more importantly, 1824 was the year when cement came into existence. And to top it all off, the first light bulb came in 1879. So you can see the chronology, how old is this product is. I mean, it's amazing that something which is so old is still be used in its all raw form. So going ahead, this is the Reims Cathedral, which is in France. Unfortunately, there was a big fire and it got very damaged, but now it's rebuilding. But what I'm going to ask you and tell you is, if you see those stained glass pieces, the windows, those were done in the 13th century. I mean, can you imagine any other material to be used in that form? So that's the beauty of the product. The second example which I'm going to talk about is the 15th century Mughal palaces. On the left is the Amer Fort, which is in Jaipur, and the right is the Lahore Fort, which is in Lahore, Pakistan. If you see the ceilings, it has been covered with mirrors. I mean, mirror today, if we talk about, is such a simple, such a novel sort of a product. You can buy it off your IKEAs, your any shops, any hardware stores. But that time, mirror was such a luxury that it was given the same status as the gemstones. So Mughals were big in using gemstones in their interiors and the buildings, and the same respect was given to this beautiful product, mirror. And the entire palaces for the queens were cladded and were used. The mirror was used. So the synonym of luxury that time till today, it is still the same. So on your left is St. Vitus Cathedral, which is in Prague. Again, 11th century, almost 1,000 years ago, which is so beautiful. As you can see, stained glass panels. To today, the Bulgari Hotel in Beijing. So left side, if you see, the glass were only used as window panes, but of course, they were decorative elements to pass on the light through them and become real, become alive. While on the other hand, when the things have gone more modern, the glasses, the use of glasses and the tangent and the areas they've been used has increased. So just that one simple image, if you see on the right, you can see glass used in the chandelier. You can see glass right in the table in front of the sofas. You can see a little glass on the left from the facade. You can see the entire walls being cladded with a mesh laminated glasses. So just the idea of how glass has taken over us, it is loud, it is quiet, it's multi-dimensional, and it is something which, as Khozema sir rightly said, it is in a subconscious. We use it, we don't give its due credit, but it's always around. So coming back to interior glasses, glass is one of those products which has been extremely researched and developed over so many years. There are almost 100 plus processes which we can do on glass. So what you see here is the things which we can do. You can do fabric lamination, which Khozema sir apparently talked about, which he likes so much. We can do walkable glasses. We can do fire fusioning. We can do etching, grooving. There's so many things we can do. It's for the last 5,000 years. The glass has been evolving. It is today. It's evolving as we speaking. It's evolving. It has not stopped, and I don't think it will stop. So a little mathematics, coming back to interior glass, since the product which Ahad gave us and the whole idea of talking about interior glass is small. But if we understand mathematically, over the 11th century to the 20th, 21st century, these 1,000 years, there has been certain glasses which has been reduced in usage. There are certain glasses which is increased in usage. But all these lines which you see technically are sine waves, So sine waves, when I talk about, you can see this beautiful curve and the wave which is going. So what sine wave means is every glass, no matter at what century, may have been used extensively and may have been used rarely. But glass is like fashion. It's like bell-bottom jeans. During my father time, it was in, then it was completely out. Then I wore them when I was 15, 16, and now they are completely out. Though glass is also like a sine wave, they've been out and in multiple times. There are the one product which is out, one product which comes in, and that's how the complete over the century it has moved and it has evolved. So talking about a little evolution of glass, on the left you see a French mansion, maybe done in the 15th century. That time the glass pieces were not very big. Hence, since the glass had to be used very small, the windows had to be divisionized in multiple smaller pieces. That was out of the need of the hour, and voila comes the 21st century. This is a farmhouse which we just executed, and the client wanted the windows to look like that. Now, in today's condition, when we can do extremely huge glasses, this was the requirement. So the same thing had to be done, but now the elements became aesthetic and they were called Georgian bars. So the sine wave, which you see on the top, from the maximum users became 0, and suddenly now at its top. Georgian bar is completely in, and they've been used extensively. Another example which you see is the stained glasses. So another picture on the left is the use of stained glass in Middle East. Whatever pictures which we've seen previous to this was stained glasses mainly used in churches and in Western colonies. But this one is particularly in the Middle East, how the Mughal Empire also shaped glass. And on the right is the 21st century, 20th century modern stained glass. So the process has not changed. Maybe the color has changed to give it a little modern touch. But what I'm trying to tell you is from 15th century to 20th century, the glass remains the same, the process remains the same. It is just the usage has increased, reduced, and further increased. The last example in this evolution bit of mine is the mirrors. Again, on the left side, you can see the tiny little mirrors along with the gemstones engraved inside the walls of Amer Palace. While on the right hand side is another beautiful brown mirror we grooved and cladded onto the wall. So we've we've discussed about how the history have panned out and how we've been using this beautiful product for centuries. And now we've come to 20th century where we understand the product differently. So the glass has become a science. It has become a subject. It has become so huge that a 30-minute talk will not give it justice. But I'm just trying to consolidate here. So whenever we think of glass, everyone thinks about, okay, it can break, it can harm, it's really fragile, it cannot be used where you want security. But due to ergonomics and stringent norms, we've transformed glass from a purely aesthetical and luxury element into a structural element, which can also take structural load. It can be used in ways we've not even imagined. So everything which we do has ergonomics in it. So ergonomics is nothing but a study of a product of a material vis-a-vis human life form. So how a product makes a human life form easier and better is what ergonomics is, and that is what we'll understand with the products and the slides which I'm going to show you further. So the first product, as Khozema sir also very rightly pointed out, that we use clear glass in railings and so many places where we don't even give it enough justice, But just imagine if I had to walk on air or run on water. Can I do it? No. Glass, on the other hand, being transparent, being so light to the structure and the environment, feeling of moving on air can be achieved with glass. So the product or the project which you're seeing in front of you was the same brief which my client gave me when he wanted to connect his duple bedroom, which I'm going to say it, into, he wanted to walk on air. So here it is glass, but what you see here, which I don't want you to miss, is even the steps are supported onto the glass. So even the glass was used as a structural element. Not only it acted like a structural element, but also gave it that airy, the light feel which the client wanted it. Another example is the bend, which my friend Ahad likes it. So it's one of our very raw images which I'm showing you, but a glass processor and architect would know how difficult this is something to achieve. I mean, this is a double 2D bend. It's a multi-dimensional bend glass, that too laminated. So the similar thing was achieved in doing a staircase. So something so simple. Just imagine if instead of glass we would have wooden paneling, or we would have cement. The use the the airiness, the floatiness, and the emptiness of the staircase would have just died. The lights which you see under the steps would have just dissolved. So that's what glass gives you. No matter you're seeing it, you're not seeing it, but the overall picture which it gives you is so beautiful that being invisible is its strength. The next another part of talking about strength of a glass and structural load is this beautiful house which we completed. So if you see on the right, man is cleaning a normal little skylight end to end of a house. On the left you can see standing, that's looking at the skylight from the center of the house. When the architect came to us and the client came to us, he said he wanted to have parties here. He wanted to do, let's say 100 people gathering, 50 people gathering, and people in ladies in heels and stuff. So we designed this for a 250 kg point load. Imagine having so much light you want to have it in the house. Imagine any other product which could give you so much light and could take so much load. There's no other product. It's very simple. So no matter how weak we think glass is, it's technically not. There's a few more pictures of the same project. The right one is an aerial shot of that terrace, which is very beautifully done with the terrace garden, and another set of glass balcony. Left is another image from one of the floors. The lastly, when I talk about structure and glass, I'm going to talk about the sizing. So when I showed you the picture of the French villa, where the glasses were broken into tiny sizes. The glass has pushed the envelope so much that the sizes which we are using now in day-to-day life is unreal. Not even metal can achieve such sizes. So what you see here on the left is Meena Bazaar, which we did in Gurgaon. So if you see these long, tall glasses, they are 20 feet, almost 20 feet tall. Similarly, this is another beautiful residence which we handed over in the year 2018 in Gurgaon. This glass also is a single 9 feet height by 20 feet width. So imagine sitting in front of this panoramic view where 20 feet is just uninterrupted glass. You must have seen Apple stores where the glasses are much bigger than 20 feet also at times. So hence, this is where I'm coming up to be it acoustics, be it ergonomics, be it energy efficiency, be it aesthetics, be it luxury. In all the points which we just discussed, glass is a big tick in almost all of them. Coming next to decorative glass, which is apparently, I don't like the word decorative glass because, I mean, it just makes it look not very typical. It looks very simple, but it's not. Every glass is very difficult. So I'm going to just rush through the types of glasses which there are and how they're used. So I think after clear glass, the most common glass which has been used is a lacquered glass or a back painted glass. So why glass? Why not just a simple paint? So glass is something which is very, very strong and very, very good when it comes to cleaning, when it comes to taking loads, when it comes to just maintaining it over the years. So when you, and cost of course. So when you have a wall which you want to do, let's say a paint or a color, but then the maintenance would be a problem, just try and use a lacquered glass and clad it. Trust me, it'll be cost effective, it'll be nicer, it'll look newer for the longer time, it's not going to get dirty, and there's so many more things. Hence lacquered glass has been used big time in commercial office spaces, from your Adobe, your Google, Facebook, Naukri.com, UTV, you name it. Any of the biggest brands in the world use lacquered glass on their walls. Lift lobbies, wardrobes, kitchen splashbacks, workstation, whiteboards, everywhere glass is there. So a few picture and the project which we handed over in the year 2017. So this is the first floor or the ground floor above the stilt. So if you see, it is a combination of a black and white. Black is the stone, while white is white lacquered glass cladded from stilt to the fourth floor uninterrupted. Also, the same white was covering the entire wall of this walkway. So it's such a simple thing, but even Italian stone will lose its shine. Even later a metal will lose its shine, but glass over a long duration of time, the long periods of time, will remain how it is. Similarly, coming to these two photographs, again our projects. Left you see white on the wardrobe, on the shutters, sorry, and black on the kitchen splashback being used. On the other hand, right, you see a nice living room of another very big architect based out of Gurgaon, his residence. So his house, entire wall from one end to another end, not just this tiny wall, but the complete house, one wall was done out of lacquered glass. The third in the story and the third most used product is etched glass. So now I ask you a question. Now we're talking about, how glass is transparent, it gets light, how it makes it look airy. What if I need light, but I don't want to see what's there behind? So that is where the frosted or the etched glass comes. So it's very simple. You just have to erode the top surface in such a way that it becomes translucent. The light comes in, but you don't see anything. So we do it with multiple types. We do it with sand, we do it with aluminum oxide. So basically nothing, it's just sand and aluminum oxide being thrown at glass at a high pace. And eventually the erosion happened at the top level. and as you see in the picture, that's how the glass becomes. There are other ways also to etch or frost or erode the top surface of the glass, which has been from acids. And it's very interesting, as different acid will react differently with glass, eats the top layer differently with glass, hence creating the texture which Khozema sir was talking about in his presentation before. So we use hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid, hydrofluoride, etc. Also, laser is currently the 20th century thing which we are using to create very, very nice thin lines of etching. So these are few images again. On the left, you see a normal etching where a positive and a negative have been played. The positives being frosted and negatives are the clear glass. On the right, you see different types of textured and etched glass. So few of them will be done with a sulfuric acid, few of them will be done with normal frosting aluminum oxide, few of them are textured glasses. So it's a mix and match of all. Similarly, coming to another set of images, left side you see a simple etching where the lines have been kept clear and the rest have been frosted. In the center, if you see, it has been printed from one side, and from one side there's something called silk finish where the glass gives you a very smooth finish has been done. Similarly, on the third, it's a textured glass, it's frosted, normal frosting. So understanding how much light you want to get in helps you to understand what kind of design you want to make with the etchings. The third product and the fourth product, sorry, and the fourth most used product in glass is the mirror. I mean, Khozema sir, I will steal your line when you say that mirror has been used to multiply spaces, or it creates it gives you a feel of a much larger space. So imagine we were using normal glass to make it airy, to not to interrupt things, and now we're using mirrors to multiply spaces. I mean, that's what such a simple product does. There's no other product which can take its space to no other product which can completely come and oust the mirror, but this is what it is. So we've got different types of mirrors. Clear mirror is what a normal mirror is, which you see yourself every day in your bathrooms. Tinted is the color mirrors, like Khozema sir again said, he used a blue mirror in one of the rooms. And distressed or antique mirrors are mirrors which has been generally, when a mirror over the year oxidizes, it creates a random patterns, which is called a distressed mirror. But now this distressing or antiquing is done on an industrial level, because the look and feel of that mirror is liked and accepted and appreciated by architects so much. So on the left side, what you see is a normal mirror cladding onto a wall. So not only it has been made out of a brick sort of arrangement, it is reflecting the area in front, hence making it look like much bigger. Another few images which you see on the left is those distressed mirror I was talking about, the antique mirror. If you see those tiny little specks and speckles on the mirror, is the antiquing. Again, a full wall has been cladded, so such a small area tend to looks bigger. The space multiplies itself. The center image, if you see, it's a jugalbandi or a crisscross between marble and mirror again, which is extremely beautiful. The third is normal, how you and me we use our mirrors, but other than bathroom, there are mirrors now used to uplift the interiors as paintings, as murals. So there are a few pictures of the mirrors. The next important point or the next important product and process we will talk about is the ceramic printing. So why is it so important, and we're going to spend a little more time here, is because it's latest, A, it's permanent, B, it's really versatile. So what you see on the left is not a satvario, it is not a stone, it is a 4 mm extra clear glass which has been ceramic printed like a satvario and pasted on a wall. Simple. So just imagine the possibilities, what you can do with glass now, having ceramic printing as your tool. Ceramic printing technically is done in two ways. One is screen printing, where you make a screen, it has a design, you put a glass below, put a screen and do a print, and then whatever color comes onto the glass and it goes for tempering. I'm not going into details of how the glass is made. Second is digitally printed, how digitally the images like this has been printed. So using this, we can do a lot of different things. We can make anti-skid glass, we can make wall cladding, skylight, facade, different type of products. So what the image which I'm going to show you next, these two images are the left side you see is a complete wall backsplash made out of ceramic digital printing. So coming to one more thing, ceramic digital printing is a permanent thing. So ceramic being a mineral, when sprayed on a glass and heated or tempered, the ceramic goes embeds in the top layer of the glass, making the product homogeneous. Once it's homogeneous, you can put it against the sun, you can put it inside the water, you can put it against heat. It's not gonna fade, it's not gonna come out, it's permanent. Similarly, that is why on kitchen backsplashes, ceramic glasses are so useful, like in the case which you see on the left. On the right is another lift lobby, printed, as you can see, a subtle print, uplifting the entire environment, just by done by ceramic. Just those blue color of the birds make it so important. So a little bit of colors and a little bit of usage, and the education of architects and interiors can really uplift the whole product. The next project which I'm going to show you is actually a facade, but this is what's going to prove it to you that this product can be used in exteriors. The picture above on the right side is the same product seen from the interior. So let's say I'm standing inside of the building, that is what I'm going to see. So this was done in Mysore. We did this in 2016-17. So it's limitless. I mean, and not just paintings, not just stones, not just these vector images. We can also do a lot of things with basic color and clarity. We can use the clarity of the glass, and we can do stuff which goes well like it. So in this particular image, you can see on the left side, we played with dots and lines and created a texture, a design using the clarity of the glass. Similarly, on the right hand side, it's a map printed on top of a glass, ceramic printed. So that's also very interesting. Another 21st century glass is the dichroic glass. It's very simple. It's a rainbow glass. I mean, that's the easiest way to explain. So every angle, if you see, will have a different product. It's not a project which we've done. This is images from Dubai Mall. So this is what a dichroic glass looks like. Yes, now in India, a lot of people, including us, do it. And it's extremely, extremely good. It gives a totally different dimension of a space. It's beautiful. Once you're there, you can only understand how it is. So these are the picture where you can sense what dichroic glass is. Another is tinted glasses or laminated colored glasses. So other than clarity, whenever we paint the glass, whenever if you see all these things, we're painting the glass either with lacquered or ceramic, it is becoming opaque. It is becoming translucent. It's not keeping its inherent property, which is it's clear. So now we can give you colored clear glasses using different processes. So coming to the images, this particular project we handed over in Kolkata. So this is the SBI R&D center. So when SBI came to us, they had a very simple vision. They said, we want to make conference rooms, 12 different conference rooms, 12 different colors, and we want it to be clear. So every color had a theme. This one's orange, then they had red, they had blue, they had yellow, they had gray, they had ocean blue. So such glasses are made. They are bent, tempered, laminated with colored, and you can see what kind of space this one product, that one glass is creating. You're not looking at the ceiling, you're not looking at the paint at the wall, you're not even looking at the stone which they've used. It's just that one glass and the impact it has with the entire space. Another example is another. It's not done by us, of course. I would say it's a internet image, but using it in malls just makes the product, makes the store stands out. It's very common to see stores with that boring clear glasses everywhere, but when someone uses it, when someone has the audacity and to use something like this, that is when the space becomes, it talks to you, it becomes vibrant. Then other very high on its sine wave, riding the wave, is the fabric and the mesh laminated glasses, which is currently the most favorite amongst all the architects and the interiors. So imagine a mesh or a fabric or a paper laminated inside of glass. Now, because of the glass strength, that paper, the fabric or mesh is standing, the image, the look it gives is completely out of the world. So here are the few images which I'm going to show you. So on the left, which you see is a 3DR again. It's a golden mesh inserted inside a glass, which is further gone into a sliding system. So every angle, it will give you a sheen. It will give you a the sheen which you can see on the top right of the image. So this is fabric and mesh glasses. We will talk about a little bit in another slide. So then I think the second last of the decorative is the textured glasses. It's just you fire those glasses at 750, 800 degrees Celsius on a die or a template, and it takes its shape. So if you see, these are currently riding on the lower end of the sine wave. They were used extensively at a time. Now, not so much, but I'm sure the wave's going to come back. The third is the last in this is the decorative glasses, the glass furniture. We've talked about how strong the glass is, how strength it can provide to you in the interiors. Hence, the glass is also used in the furniture. There are basically two types of glass furniture. One is the floating type, which you can see in this image on the left, and the other is the mirrored furniture, where the mirror is pasted on top of a carcass or a wooden frame, giving it a mirrored look, like you can see in these images on the right. There's a big market all around the world. People like us export to a lot of countries these products. Last part of my presentation is glass, and a completely modern take onto it is glass into electricity. How a glass and electricity has been combined to form products which is currently hot favorites, which are being used extensively. So the first product is privacy glass. People call it on-off glass, people call it magic glass, people call it, it has so many names, I've lost the count. It's very simple. It has liquid crystal which are crisscrossed, so it's translucent, you don't see anything there. But the moment you switch on the current, it aligns themselves, hence your vision can pass through, it becomes clear. So the image is better to explain. On the left top is the switch off mode. You don't see anything outside. The moment you switch on, you can see what's outside. Similarly, on the right hand side, the two images is telling you the same thing. It's a conference room. On the bottom, when it's off, you don't see anything inside. When it's on, you can see inside. So a lot of managing directors, a lot of office conference rooms, a lot of houses, a lot of people using privacy glasses. The last bit of interior product, also a cross between glass and electricity, is interglass blind. So people who have such blinds in their houses will know the pain of cleaning them. Generally, people use this on top of their stoves, near the kitchen or the bathroom. Bathroom, due to water and humidity, creates a lot of fungus. On the other hand, in kitchen, the residual oil which is formed, which sits on top of these slats, become terribly difficult to clean. So imagine, we've taken these blinds, we put them inside a glass, and we've hermetically sealed them so that there's no air, dust, water, mosquitoes could come inside. And now once they're sealed, they can be operated either manually or automatic. So two types. On the right, you see, on the left, you see a completely blackout blind, which is, we call it a honeycomb. This is another residence which we've done in 2018, handed over. every bathroom and every place which is little personal, which need not required curtains, has this, and a lot of architects and interiors are using it. But the story which I'm going to tell you is extremely interesting, which is for the right part. So we did an exhibition for Indian Railways where we didn't showcase the normal glasses which they were using. We showcased things which we thought were nice. Switchable glass, the privacy glass. We showed them interglass blind, and luckily for our good luck, walks in the top management of railways. They looked at it, they liked it so much that we were awarded. This is Tejas, the train. We were awarded the entire tender to make these glasses, the interglass blind glasses with the frame, and that's a separate topic. But entire, even Indian Railways, something which is Indian government based, has accepted it, has moved, evolved with us in the usage of glasses, and from a normal basic glass that they were using initially, they've come to a interglass blind, which not only, which is a high performing glass, of course, which cuts noise, improve the AC and stuff like that. Also, the interglass blind gives you the privacy whenever you need, and further improving the performance factors. So I think this is too much data. So for my last slide, I'm gonna just cover the entire thing up. How a normal person like you and me would assimilate or understand glass. So I call it a subway. It's as easy as making a sandwich. So let's make a sandwich. So when someone says, okay, welcome to Subway, let's make a sandwich, you select your bread. So in that case, you select your glass. You want a texture, like Khozema said, now textures are in, so you can select a textured glass, you can select mirror, clear glass, extra clear. Then you select how you select your veggies, how much light or how much transparency or how much visibility you want inside the room. So according to that, you pick your process. Do I want to do a ceramic? Do I want to do etching? Do I want to do a blind glass? Do I want to do privacy glass? And the last, like you select a sauce, you select, okay, I've selected the glass, I've selected the visibility. Now in that visibility, what sort of aesthetics I want. So then you pick and choose how you etch the stuff and what design you make, and hence you get a decorative glass. So last slide of mine is this simple project of ours which we handed over in, I think, 2014. This is World Mark in AeroCity. So what you see on the left hand side, the entire walls of Worldmark AeroCity has been cladded with a fabric laminated mirror. So it's a mirror behind, a fabric in front of the mirror, and a clear glass to top it off to protect. So when you're standing in that space, anyone would question, what is this product which is being put on the walls? Is it a mirror? Is it a paint? Is it a stone? But that is what glass does to you. There are so many permutation combination to glasses that you can come out to a product which no one has ever understood. And this product was done when meshes and fabric was at the downward sine wave. So when the architect designed this, even we were like, wow, man, this is amazing. So a lot depends on architects, interiors, and the clients, who discuss and design what sort of product we want, what sort of look and feel we want. So this was exceptional. I mean, now since the wave of mesh and fabric are back, we're doing 3-4 more projects on similar lines. So yeah, that's my presentation. Thank you so much. Over to you, Ahad.
Thank you, Swapnil, for that informative presentation. I'm sure everyone would have enjoyed it. I'm sure our architect, Mr. Khozema, also would have liked this. So I'm just getting my screen back. Right. So before we get into question answers, I just want to, are you able to see my screen?
No, Ahad.
No. Okay. Hold on.
I can see the screen, yes.
You can see the screen?
Yeah.
Does it say next webinar?
It's just blank.
It's blank. It's
Just
blank.
blank. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
I know what to do. Hold on. This sometimes happens.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So hold on. I think I selected the wrong. Yeah, you can see it now, right? Right.
Yeah.
Before we get into the question answer session, so our next webinar is basically again on glass, but this is another different dimension of glass. We are talking of dynamic glass on the external facade. So you saw smart glass presented by Swapnil. You saw all the different kinds of decorative glasses, interior glasses, which can be used in projects shown by Swapnil and architect Khozema. But this one is using dynamic glass on the external facade. So we have a company from the United States called View, who are leaders in electrochromic glass technology for the external facade. And we have Edifice, who have actually used this external glass facade, this external, this dynamic glass on an external facade in a project in Ahmedabad. So this is our next webinar, which is on Friday, and this is the last in our series of the Stay Informed edition. We now go back. You can register for it at webinars@wfmmedia.com. We now go to the question and answer session. We've got a set of few questions here.
I'm very happy to see you are optimistic that we will be out of the lockdown by this weekend.
Well,
I'm very glad and happy to understand that at least somebody is optimistic that yes, we are going to get out of it.
No. The reason why I'm saying it's the last one is because people will get a burnout of webinars. So what will happen
Absolutely,
is
we are already burned out of webinars. We are already dead.
Even if you have a good content in the webinar, people will start thinking, and that whole respect for webinars will go away. So that is why I want to put it stop. That is why things like what you're doing, like Cup Shop, or what we are doing called Unmasking the Facade, will have to pick up. Because you need to give a break. Otherwise, webinars will die. So that's the reason why I don't want to do. We have so much more content which we can present, but I'm just worried where because of a burnout, good content will get hidden. Okay, so I will take a set of questions. I'll start with Mr. Khozema first. Right. So selecting glass, again, whose hand should it be left at? Is it the client's hand, or should it be the developer or the builder's hand?
No, it should be the specification has to come from architects,
right,
or the specifier, whosoever it may be, an ID or architect, that he has to lead. He has to lead. Most of the time, what happens is that client is never getting involved. It is the purchase team, which is in our case, which gets involved. And most of the time, purchase guys have no technical qualification to analyze what kind of glass and specifications are being created. So they only look at cost. They only look at cost. For them, all gray or all blues or all glasses are glass. They don't understand the difference between the extra clear, low iron, and the regular float glass. So they understand. At times they want to prove a point to their client that they are trying to save money.
Right. And there's another question for you, sir. Have you used stone laminated in a glass? Maybe onyx stone or any other stone?
So we have used ceramic printed glasses. We have not used actually the stone laminated glasses. We have not used. So it's something which is very interesting. If we know about ceramic tiles, which have come out recently, which are thin tiles, which gives you that onyx feel and translucency is there. But for glass, as a matter of fact, I have used stone finish, stone look glasses, which Swapnil just showed. We have used those kind of stone on glasses.
Swapnil, what do you have to say about stone laminated glass? Is it possible? Do we have alternate varieties? How is it?
The question is, why do we want to use it? See, the thing is, it has to come out of a necessity, right? If you want to actually laminate stone, why do you increase the cost? Because initially, any which ways, the cost is a big element. Either you use a ceramic stone pattern printed on glass, or you use a stone. There is no point using two products, I don't understand it. Sorry.
Okay, fine.
But one point which is very clear is that why should you add a store when there are technologies which are available and which are much
Right.
more better, and if
Right.
you want to create natural effect, you can reprint. It is not necessary that you create one design. You can create several artwork and create a natural effect in those glasses in that.
Absolutely.
Why you want to add the dead load to the glass, whereas
Exactly.
the stone in the thinner format is going to be brittle, glass itself is brittle, you are trying to laminate them, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So this was a question. So I was just shooting it at you. Staying on the same topic, people are asking, can we laminate glass with bamboo sticks in the PVB interlayer?
Is that question for me?
Again, yes, for you. I know you can digitally print it.
You can't laminate them, of course, because it's too cheap. But you can put it maybe in a DPU, if you want to use it like that.
Like in a DGU, right? A small one or something for a decorative finish and all that stuff. Right.
We've done it.
Right. Swapnil, there's a question for you. For sticking the glass on the wall, which is better? Is silicone better, or a 3M tape is better, or are there any chemicals? Which is the best solution
It
to clad a
depends.
glass?
Depends on the dead load of the glass. But either ways, I think if you want to use it on the walls, silicone is good enough. But if you want to use it on the, let's say, a ceiling, then you ought to have a combination of a high adhesive or high bonding tape with silicone. It depends.
Right.
We should not overkill. Both are equally good nowadays. The tape industry has grown immensely. The silicone right now, currently, which we have is excellent. So I think you can use this thing. It's not such a difficult thing.
Right. Can a ceramic fritting on DGU increase the shading coefficient of glass? This is probably for any one of you.
Yeah, absolutely. See, ceramic makes the glass, it almost cut the VLT by 80%. All you have is nothing, no direct light comes inside. So, of course, you can improve the SLTC, the solar factor gets increased. Also, the U value is something which gets improved. Maybe a minuscule, but of course, it improves.
Right. Okay. Khozema sir, for you, a question. Can you please talk about the groove lighting which is created on the glass for the WOW hotel?
Groove lighting on the facade.
I think it's on the facade. That's not mentioned here.
Yeah.
The question just
So,
is, how about the groove lighting on the glass for the WOW?
So we what we did was that was a profile which was created, because we didn't. If you look at the complete glazing system, it was you don't see the mullions, you don't see the framework, and in simple language, we wanted that to break up, and we wanted the light to that lighting fixture to be used in during daytime to create a grid work, which is actually a room grid kind of a thing. And during night also that worked well. At the same time, we had a lot of challenges in terms of detailing out the peacock eye on the fins, because what happened was that from some or other angle we would be we were able to see the LED and the reflection of LED, which was, even if you look at the mock-up, when we were doing mock-up, you will realize that some angle which was not coming up correct, because a lot of time if you look in from front, it was perfectly all right, but if you saw it from side and from very distant thing, we saw a distinct vision of LED. So we struggled for that that particular detail, but finally we managed it well.
Okay. Okay. Swapnil, this next question is for you. The privacy glass images you showed in your presentation basically had haze. Do we have any technology now where haze can be avoided in privacy glass?
The technology behind a privacy glass will always have those haze. Remember the ions which were getting parallel, and then you could see things. Of course, now there are newer companies, better science which is being used, which is reduce the haze, but we can never let off. We never can make haze to be zero. The haze will always be there, but yeah, of course it has been reduced. We primarily the product is quite old, so around 10, 12 years back when the haze was too much, but eventually now as we're moving forward, the haze is reduced drastically.
Right. Right. Okay. There's another question. Of course, you showed all types of different glasses, but something which was not covered was fire-rated glass. Now, again, fire-rated is not a decorative element, but the growing demand for fire-rated glass is picking up. The question for either one of the panelists is, how do we see the use of fire-rated glass in hospitality projects, where it can be used? Just a brief overview. Maybe with Khozema sir, we can start first.
Exactly. I think
so. The facade is the most important criteria in terms of fire-rated glasses, and but currently, where we stand, it is becoming really unaffordable for us to use the facade fire-rated glasses in facade, and and there are better means of doing it instead of doing it. So one thing is that glass itself is not going to catch fire. So where it is applied, how it is applied, and for what reason it is applied, that thought process has to be very clear for a designer or architect, and then only use that kind of a glass. Because we had incident with ACPs. ACP was cladded, but it took fire from it spread like it is spreading like a wildfire. Now we have rated ACP panels, composite panels, which is giving us that secured and safety purpose. Fire rated panels. Now, in all this aspect, if you are using a glass which is a fixed glass, I fail to understand what would be the reason for using that particular fixed glass in order to separate, unless it is being used in something like fire separation lobbies and other things where the glass is must and we want to use glass. So there are other better and economical ways of doing it by using fire curtains. There are other separation systems which are available if we can avoid those kind of things and instead of glass.
Right. Okay. Swapnil, this one is for you. What was it? We'll take 3 more minutes of questions. So this one for you, Swapnil. What is the thickness of the glass used in the Gurgaon showroom? Please specify. And is it laminated? And what was the width of the panel?
So there the glass was 10. Then we had a 2.28 PVD and 10. The glass, it's 22.2. Am I audible?
Yeah.
It was I think 22.28. So 10 mm glass each and 2.28 interlayer. And the glass height was 6 meter and the width was I think 1.2 meters.
Right. Okay. Fine. The other thing which there was another question. I think this is in response to your answer, Khozema sir. So the question here is: fire curtains are more expensive than fire-rated glass. What is your call on that?
I don't think so. It will all depend on where you want to actually use it. So I'm not going to use fire curtains in facade. It is only for the separation lobbies and other things. So there are various areas. You need to be very critical in analysis that where you want to use that fire rated glass. Are you going to use it in interiors? It is not going to be possible. There is no reason for using it in interiors. There are better fire rated materials which are available for us. So it's a must that we need to use it, because we can survive with those kind of specification where we don't need to use it. Currently, irrespective, I would ask Swapnil, what is the kind of cost which you are looking for fire rated glass?
Sir, see, the thing is, I didn't want to come into this thing, but fire-rated glass is not made in the country. Everything is imported, and the pricing is extremely high. It's nothing I mean, it's all 8,000-10,000 rupees.
And I don't think so. Fire curtains are that expensive. I probably I would like to see the analysis from the gentleman or the whosoever is asking that. But I would love to see that analysis if they can show it to me, and I would be happy to learn that. But I don't think the fire curtains are expensive than this.
Right. So I'll link this gentleman, Mr. Sunil, the one who's asked this question, so that he can ask us directly.
Sure.
Right. So moving on to the next one, Swapnil, for you, when you laminate fabric or mesh in a glass, what is more ideal, PVB or does it have to be a Sentry?
Can I say neither?
Right. So you mean to say you don't need to, you can do fabric or a mesh lamination without PVB or Sentry?
Yes. There is a third layer called EVA, ethyl vinyl acetate.
Okay.
The thing is, technically EVA is much better to laminate. The reason is very simple. EVA, when it melts, it has a very less viscosity, so it can pass through those the gaps of a fabric and a mesh much more easily, and hence holding it much better. But when it comes to meshes which are very heavy, very thick, then of course Sentry, which is excellent, but the cost becomes very expensive.
But this is, you're talking from an interior point of view, correct? If it's an exterior, then it probably has to be, let's say, a PVB or a Sentry, right? Okay. So you can basically answer what Swapnil is saying. Yeah, tell me, sir.
I think Sentry is much better on the exterior. PVB not so much.
Okay, great. So we'll probably take last closing comments from Mr. Khozema first, and then Swapnil. Where do you see, sir? Swapnil showed a nice curve of different kinds of glasses coming fashion, going out of fashion. What do you think? You think the use of glass in interiors will increase more as we progress, or you think plywood and other kinds of MDF boards and things like that will be still popular, or there's a chance for glass to go more into their market share?
So my very clear-cut take on this is that there are few materials which have lasted for ages. It means I would say they have a right history. Swapnil himself said it is 5,260 years old material.
Right.
So there is a material like wood, glass. This can never get dated. These are never going to get dated, and we will have to use the glass. The property, the way it is, it will continue being used in the building industry, whether in architecture, interior, and it will add on to those add-on values to it will continue. And I think so. The industry has in last couple of years, probably a decade or so, it has moved with such a rapid pace that today we have got so much of variety to play with. Humongous amount of variety, and people have started doing value addition. For people like Swapnil, they have started bringing in so much of value addition to the product that even a simple product could be made into beautiful and detailed out very beautiful. The biggest challenge which we are going to find, especially post-COVID, is that which probably Swapnil and the industry will have to answer it, because as a specifier, I have when I look at hospitality as such, which are public spaces, in residences it doesn't matter too much, but in the public spaces, in public domains, glass, Corona on a glass can last for 4 days.
Antimicrobial glass.
So
yeah,
only antimicrobial will not work. We will require antiviral also something.
Right.
So we'll have to start coating it. We'll have to do something about it, and I believe that is something what we will have to think as an industry, and probably jointly work together with the processor as well as with the design fraternity to bring in some more collective efforts to face this, because glass can never be out of the design.
Right.
And it will be exhaustively used and continue to be used exhaustively in the future also.
Right. Thank you, sir. So, Swapnil, so do you see a demand of these antiviral, antimicrobial glasses now? Are you getting inquiries? And how is the process? I mean, as a Mr. Khozema said it's a coating. How does it work? Do you have those chemicals readily available in India? How is it?
The world post-COVID is a new world. I mean, it's like World War, right? I mean, it's like World War Three. We finished World War Three, and how's the world going to be? It's going to be totally different. I mean, as Khozema said, rightly said, unfortunately, those product, things like metal, high polished metal, glass, anything which is highly polished, and it doesn't soak in stuff, has 4 days for the virus, the life cycle. But of course, I mean, that's how antimicrobial glass was formed. The idea is that it doesn't let it sit on top of the glass. And for antiviral and there will be products will be made to make building material like glass and metal much more usable. But the thing is, when we talk about 10, 12 points of a must use, there is no other product which can sideline glass. I mean, glass has such exhaustive, such amazing properties that there are very few products to even come into that zone. So, you're talking, answering your previous question, that will it go down or up? I think this is not going to have any sort of a difference. But I think we'll start living and start using it a little differently, maybe. And like how we're waiting for vaccines.
Right.
In humans.
I think
So
we
we
have
have
lost
lost
him. Right. Okay. Swapnil, are you there?
I think we lost his connection. Maybe he'll join
Nobody.
back.
I think we can close this session. I think Mr. Amit Malhotra will close this session.
So thank you all. Khozema, awesome. Stay safe. Just a last
You
point
too.
of pre-COVID to post-COVID. Those who were alcoholics either gave up alcohol and went supreme alcoholic. Those who were partially alcoholic went both ways. That's the reality of life. Post-COVID, everything is here to stay. Everybody has these swapped feelings. What will happen? What will happen? Nothing will happen. Yeah, we'll have to live along with this corona, make it a foster younger brother, sister for a moment, and then kick it off, and as soon as possible. So whoever is responsible for it, whatever it happened, I mean, it is what it is. And like Ahad said, webinar, like frick, you open your email and it's like shit. But we intend to give you a break. But do not forget, ladies and gentlemen, this is from me, Amit Malhotra. These webinars kept you alive, kept you informed, kept you alert, kept you gained more knowledge in terms of what the industry has an offering. It will definitely continue with a small pause. And I think content, like I said, is king. And I completely respect my partner, Ahad, salute him on the being the Google of this industry concept. And we continue to do our hard work. We continue to bring together. We have to also feed families, so we continue to make sure that businesses do continue. Hope that everything stays alive, and out of all the Nirmala auntie's money, we get something out of it. Inshallah.
What happened?
With that, thank you very much.
What did she announce? Did she announce anything?
Yeah, it's been broken down, and people have already started making jokes and analytics. I think don't waste your time on bullshit. जो आएगा, जो मिल जाएगा, ले लेना खुशी से. जो नहीं मिलेगा, वो नहीं मिलेगा. It is life. With that, thank you once again. Thank you, presenters. Thank you, Robin. He's not there. Bye, Ahad. Catch you back on Friday.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.